My heart's alive, my heart's alive. My heart's alive, my heart's alive. Heart's alive, my heart's alive. My heart's alive, my heart's alive. The root is strong, the fruit is sweet. The root is strong, the fruit is sweet. When the root is strong, the fruit is sweet. When the root is strong, the fruit is sweet. Yeah. Waking up yesterday, it's been so long, stay this way. Now I found the big bad sound of beating harder, beating harder, beating hard. You go boom boom, boom boom, boom boom, boom boom, yeah. Last year, March 17th, 2006, Doris finally surrendered to heaven, and I'm sure Frida Kahlo came to meet her, and I was very proud that she went all by herself without Frida pulling and dragging her to the other side. You're outside of the Shinnecock Cemetery. To the waters, to the Shinnecock Bay.
This is a very deep and dear piece of art that was given to us. It's a
Apocalynn.
That's it.
I can see it right there.
I would like to put this painting on loan to the Visionary Art Collective.
Thank you.
It's run by Christina Varga.
Thank you.
She will
That's very
be
generous.
on loan for a period of time that is undisclosed, indeterminate. We're not really sure, but
in perpetuity.
In perpetuity.
First time I came to New York, we made it just in time to go to the Modern. And by this time I'm a punk rocker. So that was before they had glass on Vincent van Gogh's Starry, Starry Night. And I was a little bit more sharp and rough back then in '81. So I just ran up and started touching and feeling Starry, Starry Night and feeling all the things before the alarm went off and 3 security guards were pulling me away going, "You can't touch the Starry, Starry Night." And I think the year after that they covered it in glass because they just had too many people with gut reactions that just had to touch it.
Apocalynn is one of the artists that formed a real community of people. We knew each other, we supported each other, okay? We hung with each other, literally hanging paintings and hanging out.
This neighborhood was very small, and it was impossible not to see everyone on a night-by-night basis. Some weird restaurant would open up that would service the coolest people from outside of our neighborhood who wanted to be part of our neighborhood, but she would be doing their cards or whatever like that and telling them their future, and she would be sort of like the representative for like what this neighborhood was about.
Actually, as the neighborhood really changes and is becoming gentrified and a lot of the people are leaving, there aren't that many people left, and so Apocalynn's really one of the few people left from kind of the old school or from the classic Lower East Side, from that really creative period of the 80s and early 90s.
I've sort of came up with my own term for my artwork: symbolism and mysticism, which I will call symbol mist.
Everything child next to you. I feel like a child.
In documenting Lower East Side, you run into a lot of people, and eventually through Jerry Pagan, a person I had shown here, I met Apocalynn. Now I had known Apocalynn through Spike. Spike was a person I'd known down here for quite a long time, and I had seen Apocalynn around the Pyramid Club, as well as the Rivington School, which was a large anarchist sort of autonomous zone on Forsyth Street. Started off in Rivington, and then it was on Forsyth Street. It was a large enclosed space that was corralled in by this huge sculpture metal structure that went around.
In the 80s, there were so many artists coming to New York from all over the world, and what was really exciting is that you didn't have to audition, you didn't have to come before a committee, you could start immediately. It was a combination of everybody and anybody. You'd have homeless people living in the sculpture. It's an incredible, unique experience that I can't imagine anybody being able to create. Such an incredible combination of impossible elements which came together all in one spot because it was free. I felt very, very fortunate to be a part of it, of this experience, because I never met so many artists from all over the world, and somehow, to bring all these diverse people, diverse experiences from Paris, from Uruguay, and to get to know them, the backgrounds was incredible. It hasn't happened in New York since. Apocalynn would be one of those artists who would read poetry, paint on surfaces, be part of the interactive relationship between artists, and be a positive force in this total experience.
And just about all the art that America is known for is tied to cheap rents. It doesn't matter if it's Jackson Pollock or Warhol or Ginsberg or Charlie Parker or any of the great cultural icons of America. They were really in New York, and the thing that made it accessible, the whole punk movement, CBGBs, was really the cheap rent and the inexpensive food, the inexpensive restaurants. So by the time you started working into the 90s, and when you started getting into the gentrification, by the time you get into the 2000s, you don't really have the possibility for artists to come here and live in an inexpensive lifestyle again. If you look around now, there isn't really an art community here anymore. There's a very commercial scene about marketing like Chelsea, but Chelsea's not a creative scene. It's not a cultural scene. It's just, it's a marketplace. Probably where it's coming from, since the world's becoming so large, and so this whole New World Order that started off with the first Bush and Reagan, it's probably China is probably the next real creative place where the exciting dynamic and major changes are going to come from, because they're not coming from here because money has interrupted. You go to Soho now, it's nothing but just marketing, expensive stores. You go to Chelsea, that's all it is. And Lower East Side now, that's all it is. It's just people scrambling for rent and survival and trying to remain here. And that kills creativity. So Bloomberg and that, although everybody loves him, he's just another billionaire, and his whole mentality is money. And if he wants to reward somebody, it's through money. Kids that do well on tests, he'll give them money. If people are doing something that he doesn't like, he fines them. So it's all about money. You punish through money, and you reward through money. But that's not art. That's not ideas. That's not intellectual freedom. That's marketing, money, and people, one person having more money than the next.
Oh, hey. This is actually the first painting from 24 years ago. On Halloween, I usually burn candles and ask dead artists for visions, and Franz Marc came and we started drawing all of these things, and I think I probably drew out the next 10 or 11 paintings on Halloween night. And this was 1981, so the animal paintings have never stopped. Horses and cats I have the highest communication with. Now dogs talk to me. I don't know why. I do wolves sometimes, but rarely dogs.
Because Apocalynn is part Native American, a big part, she identifies strongly with others as well, and relating to the people around her who are Native American, which aren't that many people when you run around in the city and stuff. We have some mutual friends, and she connected out with the Shinnecox out on Long Island as well. She's doing a totem pole.
They call America the melting pot because so many different ethnic groups have come here. So the significance of someone who can trace their bloodline back historically and predate the United States of America, predate whatever state that individual is from, is historically significant. And you know, the ancestors would be proud of someone stepping up and taking on the task of promoting, you know, the culture as a whole.
Strong, the food is sweet. When the root is strong, the fruit is sweet. When the root is strong, the fruit is sweet. When the root is strong, the fruit is sweet. Yeah.
I think with Apocalynn, there's a real sort of fantasy element that's interesting. You know, it's like Apocalynn's art is kind of like pure imagination. That's the other thing now you don't really have too much of, is kind of that wild and free imagination, that you know, the desire just to make art for art's sake, and the desire to you know, explore the imagination and to explore one's inner self. It's now just kind of short-term thinking about trying to make a bunch of paintings and get them into a gallery and get them into the market. But it's interesting to see somebody like Apocalynn that does have this sort of internal vision and to pursue that path. And luckily she has a rent-stabilized apartment and inexpensive rent, and she's got herself in a situation where she can you know, survive and just paint.
Well, I guess I'm from the country. I grew up a lot of horses. They're just such majestic animals. I always had a pony. When I was a teenager, I had a horse. Painting, you know, red horses and blue horses and yellow horses, and sometimes I like to add some Indian symbolism in there.
I saw Tom Snyder, this changed my life.
we are calling up the spirit of Wendy O. Williams to come tonight to see how we loved her and to talk to us and to express with us how she feels. And Wendy, I ask you if you could come through my body and speak or tell us anything that you would like anyone to know. We are here for you. I am here for you. I am your medium. I am your lover. I am your medium. Come through me. Tell me anything that you would like anyone to know. Talk to me. Talk to anyone you wish. I am your medium for you to come through tonight.
And Apocalynn showed in my space, which later was called Not a Gallery. She showed there twice. What I view Apocalynn is as someone who really hangs on. She's an artist who has not lost their vision. Okay, she's an artist who stayed true to her art and has developed over the years and seasoned, okay, matured, all right? She's a professional artist that any economic downturn is not going to affect her because of the fact that she was on the outside of those institutions.
So I guess I'm asking of her a big favor because she inspired me. I guess I'm hoping that maybe now that she could have a moment or a sand of time of inspiration for me.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, I don't know if what I paint, I don't know if what I paint would be her style or not her style, but certainly the way I've lived my life, and certainly the way I would like to be remembered. I would hope and I would think that Wendy would give me respect on that. I would think that she would surely understand that. Okay, when's the curtain blow? Oh yeah, they gotta get off stage.
Now, we're going to do this one time. Would you welcome back now, please, from the Plasmatics, Wendy O. Williams. Wendy loves you all back, all right? Now, the last time you were here the night after, I said to the audience, and maybe you heard about this, that I thought, you know, after you blew up the television set, saw the guitar in half, I thought of all the people who maybe don't have the money to buy a television set. I thought of all the people who maybe wanted to buy a guitar, kids who want to learn how to play. Do you ever think about that when you do that sort of thing? I understand it's not a put down, but I just wonder what goes through your mind when you're doing that sort of thing.
Well, I like to do it, but there's also, you know, like in our society, like things are way out of whack.
Yeah.
Like it seems that it's normal for rape and murder to go on. It's not normal to smash a TV set, and I think things are out of proportion. And like I'm like exercising the evil in society when I'm smashing these things, because I'm showing that these are just things.
And I'm sure I give away my age group when I talk like that, but you know, there are a lot of people who are, forgive me, beyond the age of 40 like I am, who look at Wendy and see an attractive, bright person who's got some talent. I mean, you got some music in you, and we wonder maybe if she'd quiet it down just a little bit we'd understand a little bit better. But maybe your audience would widen a little bit.
Well, you know, like, I mean, I think music is infinite. You know, like, I feel that we are communicating, sometimes even without words. You know, like, it does work. You don't mind I park my car over here, do you?
No, not at all.
I mean, what we do, like, we do make money at what we do, too. And, like, another thing, like, I think, you know, materialism is rampant, you know, like, with violence and everything in our society. Mm-hmm. And the only way you can really not let money rule your life, not let materialism rule your life, is be able to flush it down the toilet.
Yeah, but then you have to go out tomorrow to get some more so that you can flush it down the toilet that night, if you know what I mean.
We love to do it. We love to do it. And it's also like we are out. We're bound and determined to undermine the status quo. And this is the ultimate to the society.
Now, did it make you happy to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel really good.
Society has been worked over for a long time, and it will continue to be worked over, because there are going to be people coming after you who might want to work you over. That's right, sir. What I'm getting at here is that as you become more successful, and as you sell a lot of records, and as your concerts sell out, how do you make certain that you don't become a member of what you now call the establishment or society?
Well,
you know, I mean, there have been a lot of acts that have, kind of thumbed their nose at the establishment, but as they began to become successful and got the money and got the cars and the houses and the TVs,
really, like there's pluralism and there's fascism, and everybody has the same cosmic, same energy. Everybody has that, and everybody should have the right to express this energy. And this is pluralism.
Okay.
Like the rest of this junk is fascism, when somebody wants to beat you over the head to make you do what they want you to do. And this is what we're against. We're out to stomp that out.
This painting's the synagogue across the street from our house, which they're now repairing and they're going to use again. They didn't use it for years and years. And this painting, Jasper Johns had painted on it and threw it out of his studio on the corner. And I grabbed it and took it home and started painting over it. But it wasn't a complete Jasper Johns. He had got frustrated and marked over it 2 or 3 times and then just got mad at the canvas and threw it out. So when I saw it, I brought it home and painted on it. And he said it was in my chrome, no color period.
We also go through our own contortions, our own anguish, our own moments, but also our moments of euphoria, of utopia, like Woodstock, which is a utopia. There's something that I learned from Thule Kupferberg, who was with a band called the Fugs with Ed Sanders in the 60s. But Thule Kupferberg, I interviewed him when I did my Down and In. Okay, and Thule said that all we can hope for in life are momentary utopias. Momentary utopias. And that's almost like breathing. Every breath is a momentary utopia, because guess what? You're still breathing. And you breathe it in and breathe it out, and there are some people who breathe it in, and when they breathe out, something else comes out. And that's what we call art. Okay? Art is long and life is short. So make your art so that is there, that you leave some legacy for humanity, right? Communicate.